it occurred to me recently that all across the internet, no one quite seems to understand how evolution works. A worrying number of people seem to still be in this sort of semi-theistic mindset and treat evolution less as a means of explaining how we got here and more as a substitute for the other argument, divine creation. Sadly, a chunk of the contribution towards this misunderstanding is because of them. You know what I mean, those people. They never set foot in a university science lab, but they're experts in their field. They think treating Richard Dawkins like a prophet and a visionary is the equivalent to actually being a real scientist. What they lack in smarts, creativity, open-mindedness, and any degree of insight, they make up for in misplaced arrogance, euphoria, and their fedora and a leather trench coat collection. Yeah, those guys. There is a reason, however, that people who aren't complete and utter omega males who have never kissed a girl might not fully grasp what natural selection really is. It's something we all grew up with. Pokemon. So many people have a contorted view that evolution is in some way magical, sentient, benevolent, or in the slightest bit even complicated. Like it has a design. Like man rules the world because evolution willed it to be so. Like we had some great destiny, and it may full well have been the dogs, or the bears, or the lizards that now rule in our stead. There exists another game though. A perfect example of how evolution, natural selection, and survival of the fittest actually work. World of Wacraft. No, stop. I don't mean that in respect of a social experiment, I mean that from a war perspective. Now, not all of you have played World of Warcraft, so allow me to condense it and explain it as simply as I can. Once upon a time in the WoW universe, all the landmass in the game was one single mega-continent. Until the elves, accidentally the whole planet. But it's not the elves we're focusing on here, no. It's those big cow people. They're called the Tauren, and they explain evolution far better than 750 Pokemon. The cowmen were spread all across the western landmass, and when it split, the tribes split with them. One landmass moved south, the other landmass moved north, the other one stayed put. And now the Tauren was split into three, and here is where the evolution starts. The southern Tauren became the Yangol, think the Mongols, because the southern continent is a reflection on China. The northern Tauren became the Taunka, that's how it's pronounced. But it wasn't magic that would eventually cause these defining biological traits. It wasn't natural selection. Picture that you and your mates are biologically apt to living in the savannah, when suddenly you're in a whole new frozen climate. You can't magically adapt to the cold of the north, so folks start to die out. Not necessarily the weakest, but those who can't survive the cold long enough to pass on their genes to fight the weather and hunt for food in this changed environment. And so, slowly, gradually, over the next 10,000 years, those traits that some Tauren had that became useful to the survival of the species led on not only to survive, but more importantly, to breed. Most likely those who also had those traits. To conclude, I hope I have simplified the evolutionary process enough for people to stop saying stupid stuff like, that goes against evolution, that's bad for the evolution of the species. Evolution is not a sentient process, it is not God. It is a little more than the process of those suited to survive and propagate doing so. This has been my opinion, and I hope to see you again soon.